best show on
Welcome to Blog Talk
and the
Radio.
best show
Please
on
hold
the
and you'll be
internet.
able to listen to the
Shut
show.
up. Nobody, and I mean nobody, tackles issues like inflammatory talk. Shut up. And Mr. Midnight Movie. Shut up. And Jewish producer.
Hello, son.
Shut up. We tackle the things that nobody tackles.
Hello, son.
The man's answers.
Hello, son.
Stop walking on eggshells. Shut up.
Hello, son.
Goofy Bone can get off his bloviated fat enchilada ass and start talking about La Raza.
Hello, son.
Jocking it. Pimp Daddy Joe Pete. Jocking it. Pimp Daddy Joe Pete.
Whipping the skippy all day long, all day long.
We're making a movie about white guilt. We're going to examine all these facts. Shut up. The civil rights movement today basically protects criminals.
Okay, stop interrupting me.
We're making a movie about white guilt.
Okay, stop interrupting me.
Shut up. We're making a movie about white guilt.
Done in a beautiful fashion. The documentary, at the same time, both prose and poetry.
It's not the noble movement that it was.
I'm above you on all these issues. I've been to the military. I have served in the capacity to protect your rights to bloviate. To protect your rights to bloviate.
Who are you to tell me what my style is, you meth addict?
I've been to the military.
How do you know I'm a meth addict?
I'm above you on all these issues.
How do you know I'm a meth addict?
You haven't served in the military. In fact, you wouldn't be fit for the military.
I'm a racist, and I don't consider myself an especially evil person.
What's this got to do with the price of rice in China?
Well, I'm just telling you, I'm a better man than you are.
You're a narcissist. We've established that.
Okay, stop interrupting me. You could not defend the very rights you enjoy. You are the ultimate invalid.
I put stock in you.
I'm wondering why Mr. Solutions isn't on Debbie Daly's show.
What's this got to do with the price of rice in China?
Money. I'm into aviation. Money.
Power.
Money.
Power.
Man boobs.
Shut up.
I see why Sick the Tank daddies kicked his ass and kicked him out of the house early on.
Man boobs.
Shut up.
I'm going to talk over you as loud as I can. I've got my speaker full blast to blow you away.
Shut up.
Mr. Midnight Movie.
My name is Delano. I have killed Mr. Midnight Movie. I stabbed that son of a bitch.
This is
Money.
Power.
Money.
Power.
tired.
Money.
Oh.
Money.
Yeah.
Whoa! It seems like we have been off the air for 3 weeks.
Yes.
Hasn't been that long, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Hasn't been that long. You know what? We've done a show about this this person, and she is a queer black Muslim. I don't think she's a full lesbian. Yes.
Who?
Blair Imani, and I don't.
Who the hell is Blair Imani?
We did a show a while back about this woman.
Oh yeah.
And she is ridiculous, buffoonish, and
I do remember that. Where can you catch some of Blair Imani's action?
well, I sent you a thing. The first time that I recognized the horrific, this walking oxymoron known as Blair Imani was on the Tucker Carlson show. I sent you the link to that, by the way, in the Skype, in your Skype box. So,
you know what? I wonder if you sent it to the right one because I'm not seeing it. Let me check another one.
You can always do Blair Imani Fox News on YouTube if you want to. It's up to you.
I've got it here. Safe spaces for Muslims in the U.S.?
Yes.
I remember her now. All right. You want me to go ahead and play this?
By the way, the picture doesn't exactly look like her. I don't think it's the same person. I could be completely wrong.
Oh, I wouldn't. I like your thinking on that. Yeah. Let's see.
But she is, she isn't, certainly the criminal that Jussie Smollett is, but she is the same sort of drama queen. I believe that she became a Muslim because she's anti-West, anti-American, and she's really full of herself. she seems like she's a bit of a narcissist, to be honest with you. She has very narcissistic tendencies, like a lot of the SJWs out there. So, yeah, and she comes from wealth and privilege. She's a wealthy, spoiled little brat, and this is her now. Why don't you play the clip?
All right, it's a 6-minute clip, so cut me off whenever you want to.
Well, some recent high-profile events in Europe indicate, and some have said this, that Islam in some of its forms could be hazardous to people's health. But in Australia, it is Muslims who are declaring they're the ones who need safe spaces. A group called the Islamic Council of Victoria, which says it represents 200,000 Muslims in Australia, is calling on the government there to fund a series of safe spaces where they say Muslims can safely express, this is a quote, inflammatory views that would cause trouble if voiced publicly. This is part of the de-radicalization process. Blair Imani is the executive director of Equality for Her. She's an American Muslim. She said safe spaces would be a good idea here. Blair Imani joins us tonight. So, Blair, what exactly would a safe space for Muslims look like? What does that mean exactly?
Well, first I think we need to start by understanding that everybody kind of misunderstands what a safe space means. And so for me today, I'm talking about safe spaces being somewhere where you can be who you are without fear of being surveilled, having violence committed against you, or being harassed. And I think it's a good idea to have everywhere. America was built on the idea that we could express our religious freedoms, that we can have free speech. I know that's something that you very much believe in.
Yes.
And I think it's, a necessary thing. And we're talking about safe spaces for Muslims. We need to recognize that we've been...
Yeah, man, is this really the same person?
Surveilled for a very long time. I converted to Islam 2 years ago. But for folks who have been Muslim and living in America, it's a crisis.
I want to say that this was this clip of her was over 2 years ago. She's recently resurfaced on another thing, but continue on.
All right.
Surveilled, you're being watched, and children are being affected.
We may have to stop you there. Why do you think law enforcement agencies would put Muslims under surveillance?
Well, obviously because of the counterterrorism efforts. But when
what is that? Why would there be counterterrorism efforts aimed at Muslims?
Come on, Tucker, you're a smart guy. You know why that is.
I don't know. I'm a man who asks questions, and I'm asking a question about the statement you just made. What's the answer?
Absolutely. Well, there are, acts of terror committed in the name of Allah that do not, reflect the Muslim community. However, there is this...
Well, they may or they may not, but you'll concede this is not entirely random. It's not that the U.S. government or police departments are just, looking for some religious group to persecute, or is that what you're saying?
I am saying that, the United States government has been in the business of doing that for quite a long time.
So why don't they do it to the Amish? Wait, hold on one second. Why don't they do it to the Amish, or why don't they do it to Hasidic Jews? I mean, they're a set-apart community, speak a different language, not assimilated, but I don't see a lot of terror attacks committed by those groups. Have you?
It's not profitable right now to be, speaking against these other groups. Right now, it's very profitable to be speaking against Muslims because it's, feeding into this wartime effort. More cells.
Okay, but look, I mean, we can debate the details here, but I think it's important to acknowledge a baseline, and that is that there have been an awful lot of attacks where actual people died in the United States and in Europe, committed by people saying really clearly we're acting in the name of Islam. And other Muslims say, you don't act in my name and you're perverting our religion or whatever. But there's still people who have killed a lot of other people in the name of Islam. So it's not like some mass fantasy that law enforcement is acting out of. This is a real thing, and I don't understand why groups like yours won't acknowledge the reality of that, because it is there. It's true.
I don't understand why other groups won't acknowledge that violence isn't something that's exclusive to the Muslim community.
No one's
it's
saying
not
that.
Exclusive to Islam. It's not exclusive to, my religion. And so, which is Islam, but we see people being targeted in a way that's extremely unfair. And we also have this rise of white supremacist and, quote, alt-right, violence that's being committed.
Oh, spare me, that's too dumb.
It's happening.
No,
we
but
can't
actually
ignore
it's
that
not.
it's happening, Tucker.
Look, if you're reading only Salon all day, maybe you've been convinced of that. But the truth is, there are hard numbers kept by the U.S. government, maybe they run on this plot too, that show exactly the number of people who died and how in terror attacks in the United States. And the truth is, there's no comparison. There actually is a problem with people self-identifying as Muslims murdering other people in the name of Islam. I don't think you're implicated in that. I'm not saying you are. But I just don't know why you're not more upset at them. I'm an Episcopalian. If they're Episcopalians setting off bombs in the name of...
I'm not upset, Tucker.
Okay, but what you're doing is coming on and lecturing the U.S. government for being racist and mean to Muslims. Why don't you say, well, there's a real problem in our community. We're trying to do something about it, but maybe they should stop surveilling us so much. That would be a fair thing to say, but instead it's it's always the fault of the larger society, and that just, that's just silly.
Fair.
You see what I mean?
Well, I think, it's ridiculous that the idea that we can't have those safe spaces, like we were saying, is something that's out of the question. The truth is that Muslims are being targeted in ways, and truly there are other communities that need safe spaces, which includes the LGBTQ community, the Black community. There needs to be spaces where people are
I'm not sure you're not to speak
harassed.
on their behalf too, but I feel like I'm harassed a lot online. Whatever. I mean, I guess we're all victims here. But here's the question: what would Muslims say in safe spaces that they wouldn't say in public? Do you think?
Well, I don't speak for all Muslims, and I actually am a Black queer woman in addition to being a Muslim. So from my own experience, when I go to the airport and I go to untangle, a pair of headphones and I get, visited by somebody from TSA, it's that type of thing. We have to look at the fact that it's not necessarily inflammatory things, it's the
headphones
perception.
In the safe space? No, this is a sincere question, though. You're asking for someone, not you, I guess, to pay for a safe space where people can say whatever they want. And I want examples of the kind of things that Muslims believe they could only say in a so-called safe space and could not say, for example, on this show or on a street corner. Like, what kinds of things would they be saying in these safe spaces?
I don't think it's necessarily something that they can't say elsewhere, but it's, spaces have internal community dialogues to be able to hash things out, to be able to have these complicated discussions. And something else that, I really want to be out in the forefront that the Islamic Council of Victoria has also done in collaboration with the Board of Imams is speaking out against violence against women. These type of, internal community dialogues acknowledging that there's an issue of violence against women and that, there needs to be more.
In the Muslim community, there's a problem.
In all communities, there is an issue of violence against women.
Have you noticed that all identity politics kind of converges in the end? So it's not just about Muslims, it's about the LGBT community, it's about Black lives. It's like, at some point.
Well, some of us.
We still good?
Like myself,
we're still good.
In all of those communities.
That's identity politics. I want to stop it. Yeah, that's he made a point there, but yeah, I mean, there's the Quran says, that you are allowed to beat your wife. Continue on.
Well, that's it. We're at the 6-minute mark there. It's over there.
Oh, it's over. I guess that wasn't the one where she said that she's Black first.
Primarily, you're an American. Aren't we all first and foremost
Americans?
Americans?
Maybe she says it here at the very end. Yes, she does say it at the end.
First and foremost Americans.
I'm Black first.
End of conversation. Thanks, Blair.
There we go.
She's Black first.
She is Black first. Now, she blocked me on Twitter because I did mention South Africa to her. But I don't want to... so why don't we go... I wonder if she's changed any portions of her perspective on life. Because she's a Black person first. And she's a Muslim. I guess she's maybe even a Muslim first. Her religion comes first, perhaps. But I don't know if she realizes that she couldn't practice her faith where it originated from in the Middle East. But JP, do you want to get into her Twitter and see what this walking oxymoron... you know what? We have a person who wants to come into the call. I think she was calling. So let me add. So I'm adding someone to our call, and hopefully she will be answering. She was Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, while we bring Ruthie in, if she's going to answer. Ruthie, are you there?
Yes.
Have you been listening to the show, by the way? Hello? Hello?
Hello there, Ruthie.
Hello?
Are you there? Can you hear us?
I sure can hear you.
Good. Okay. How's it going, Ruthie?
It's going better now that I got on your show. I have so much to say about Miss Blair. Oh, my word.
Oh, that's perfect.
I sure can hear you.
Wait, what's going on? Is that I'm hearing the show in the background. All right.
Forgive me. I just shut it off. I kicked my cord by mistake.
No
I was getting up to get a
So
plug-in.
you know,
we get confused
you know
easily,
about.
sorry.
So you have an inside scoop about.
Huge.
So
Huge.
Great.
Now this woman, I'm assuming what I know about her too is she comes from a rather wealthy family. What do you know about her, by the way?
Well, I follow her because I want to see who's doing what with Linda Sarsour, and there she shows up, and now she's got her latest video. Have you seen it? She's with a guy that's totally. I'm not even talking gay. I'm talking about extremely, extraordinarily exaggerated. What do they call that? When someone's very
transsexual, homosexual.
But beyond that, when they do, it's like a show. What is the word?
Drag.
For that again?
Are you talking about a drag queen?
Yeah, it's beyond that. Beyond that. Oh, what is that? It's basically exaggerating all the gestures. It's something that would be completely prohibited in any Islamic country anywhere in the Middle East. So I sent you a link to the YouTube where it's a guy who wears makeup and he has very exaggerated, elaborate physical movements, very extremely feminine movements to make his point. I'm not talking about a guy that just goes through life with a regular job at a regular.
You're talking about flamboyancy, right?
Flamboyant! Oh my God, the word escaped me. Very flamboyant. He's wearing full makeup. I just sent you the link. This would get them both killed immediately in the Middle East, in an Islamic environment.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I don't know how long Blair Imani would last in any Islamic being. She identifies herself, as a queer black Muslim.
I know, but you can't be both. I'm sorry, but you can't be both. You just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And she is just. It is unbelievable to me that the left still like.
I just sent you a link. Did you not get it?
Did you send it to both of us, or did you send it to me?
Oh yeah. Who did you send it to?
Let's see. I'm sending it now to.
Let me check it out here. I think you probably sent it to me.
There it is. I sent it.
Okay.
You see it now?
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
Look at that guy.
Oh yes.
So I'm sorry. You cannot go to a Jewish home and insist on eating sausage. It's just not done. It's just not done. You cannot go and then push your idea down the throat of people who religiously already have rejected a particular social idea for thousands of years.
And by the way, I don't know if you've seen it lately or not.
Have you turned that video on? Turn it on. Don't take my word for it. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to.
Another disturbing thing I've seen recently in the media has been pushing male makeup, of all things. Male makeup.
Come on.
Blair,
hello.
Hi, welcome. So we've been talking about doing a video together for
months
since BeautyCon, which was July. I just want you to look fabulous. You're so stunning. When I saw your skin today, I was like, I don't even want to put makeup on your face. I'm not touching you. Mashallah. Let's give her some credit here. You're so stunning, and I can't wait to paint your face. So
I'm really excited. I've been trying to up my game, trying to up my eyeshadow game, looking at your Instagram, looking at your look. So I'm really excited to have my face beat by the one and only Ramsey.
I love that. It's been a long coming, but we're finally making this happen.
I'd like to see her doing that in downtown Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah. Well, she'd be killed immediately.
Okay.
And look at the guy. What they're talking about is men in makeup, how to apply it. And he's teaching her how to be feminine. And, you hear how exaggerated he is. He's really exaggerated.
This is the way the media has been going lately.
You can't be in both. You can't say I'm Islamic and I'm into Islamic rights and then conduct yourself in that fashion and expect to be respected and accepted.
It's wholly satanic. It's unbelievable how in our faces this stuff is. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Let's get started.
Let's do the glam.
I would love to learn more about you and your life, so please tell me.
See what I mean?
Definitely.
Total hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
So does she talk about her life and how she was like how she came to Islam?
No, she's talking about how to hold the eyeliner properly with your pinky on the cheek so that you can make the streak very Cleopatra-like and so that it's smooth. And then having the brush to make sure that you separate the eyelash. You know, when you do the eyebrows and when you do the eyelashes, you separate. That's what they talk about. That's not Islamic. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? The one thing that I'll give this guy a pass on, because I don't know as much about this guy. Looks like he was raised in Islam. Blair Imani has no excuse. She's just, actually the only excuse she went to college. She probably read Malcolm X and was inspired, but didn't want to change the fact that she likes chicks and that
you can't be both. Yeah, you can't do both.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do both. And it's just a form of rebellion for her, and it's not authentic. It's a load of crap. And the fact that she gets, she's on so many places on YouTube and talking on major networks is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The left is... Yeah, go ahead.
I remember when we had the awful situation where Zimmerman shot the young man in Sanford, Florida. You remember that mess?
Yes.
All right. Whenever the news networks were going to bring someone on to speak on the matter, they would invite, with so many thousands of well-educated, degreed black men and women, they would instead invite Michael Skolnick, who's a white guy from Brooklyn. He wants to be like black and get street cred, so he speaks with he had like a blackish accent. He was trying to be, street cool by acting and talking blackish. And I called him on it. I asked the black community, with all the men and women that have graduated with advanced degrees who are so articulate, you still go to a white man to speak for you. Why is that? And I asked the networks this on a regular basis in writing and on the air. And finally they stopped having him speak for blacks. It's so old-fashioned. Here they're trying to show that they're people who are educated now, that there's a ridiculous reason to continue this racist position and just shooting young black kids because they came in the neighborhood and you don't know them. To stop that kind of nonsense. And NBC, CBS, Fox, everybody would keep bringing Michael Skolnick on. And I wrote about it and I demanded, let the blacks speak for themselves. They have thousands of educated men and women that can absolutely carry that and do a good job at it. They can speak for themselves. They don't need you to represent them. That was in the 50s. This is a new day. Blacks have thousands of well-educated men and women that can speak for them. They do not need a white man to speak for them on the black experience. How ridiculous is that? And they stopped it. They stopped it. Now this is very clear how fundamentalist religions decide themselves, they progress, they take on practices that had been going on for thousands of years. now she wants to impose openly gay practices, especially of a very flamboyant man, and how to apply makeup, and think that I'm going to accept or respect her Islamic position. No, I'm not. No, I am not.
Well, the thing that gets me is she's very anti-American and very anti-West. But
As
she
is
couldn't
Linda
be.
Sarsour. I don't know why they are in this country. They should go home, find a country where they would be happy, like Palestine.
Is Linda Sarsour? Is Linda Sarsour a lesbian?
No. No.
I wonder how
she does not behave like one. She doesn't conduct herself like one. In that sense, I have to defend that she's very much a heterosexual woman. She's very much a woman. She's a feminine woman. She's not gay at all. I haven't seen that. I could be mistaken. I could be totally mistaken, but I do not believe that's the case.
I wonder, what does Linda Sarsour think of gays?
I've never heard her take on it. I just know that she doesn't like, how would I say, rejection of people for any reason, gay or otherwise.
Well, yeah. Well, so she's a bit of a social justice warrior, but her faith does not allow for homosexuality at all.
Go on YouTube and look at what happens to gay men and women. They don't even have a discussion or a training for them, or hey, maybe you want to try this fundamentalist religion instead. They don't have anything like that. If you are accused, and by the way, they don't have to have proof. If someone accuses you of being gay, they will usually kill you.
Is this an all Muslim, like even in Turkey?
Yes, in Turkey. Go right to YouTube. There are videos of men being thrown off rooftops in Turkey. Yes.
And in Morocco as well. I'm just curious.
If people believe their faith and they believe that act of murder is justified, they're going to carry it out. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, we're in Somalia today, so let's not do it." That's not the case. If they really believe in their faith and they believe that is something that totally defies their faith, and that murder is the only solution, they're going to kill the person, and they do it on a regular basis. And in their details about what goes on in each country, people who fall off, who get burned on stoves, who die because a tree falls on them, whatever death statistics they report, they do not report the deaths for gay-related accusations. They don't report those. It's like India. In India, we have the highest percentage of men setting women on fire. But that's not reported in their statistics.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily report, and I think a lot of it has to do with political correctness. Now, me and you do differ on, yeah. Well, I think at least in America, I don't think we report things as much, just due to the fact that it is about political correctness. But yeah, my opinion again on Blair Imani is the fact that she considers herself black first. She's a black queer woman who considers herself black before American, and I don't think in many African countries, particularly African countries that are Muslim, sub-Saharan African countries that are Muslim, she would ever last too long there either. Now, JP, Blair Imani has blocked me on Twitter. I wonder if you can go into her Twitter to find out what she's bloviating about on her Twitter.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you perfectly.
All right. Blair, let's see. I just had her up. Let's see if I can find her again. So, yeah, her Twitter has almost 60,000 followers.
Unbelievable.
Over 5,000 people followed her in the last 24 hours. So it must have been...
Well, she recently was on a panel.
Yeah.
Where she bloviated.
Was that her visit to Tucker Carlson or somewhere else?
No, it was on Vice. It was a 45-minute, and everyone thought how polite this was, and how much how good the conversation was, and this and that. I still. It's like nobody calls this. To me, Blair Imani being on any panel, that walking oxymoron being on any panel is ridiculous, is absurd and ridiculous. She's, in my opinion, she should be exposed for the female Jussie Smollett that she is. Because
she talks about. She covers a lot of mental health issues, and in the latest episode of, I guess it's Mars and Blair, she talks about mental health crisis. She checked herself into a hospital for evaluation.
Really?
Yeah. That's what she talks about. Now, I guess that's a major theme. I honestly don't listen to her podcast, so I wouldn't know.
Now, that's a pretty Western thing. I don't think there are too many people in the Islamic community in Islamic countries that check themselves in for mental health or mental hospitals. I could be wrong, but that's a very Western thing to do.
And if you want, I could, you know what, why don't I share my screen and I'll scroll down, and if you see anything you like, you could just stop it and as you two talk, and if you see something you like, you could just comment on it. So,
yes.
Where am I?
Well, I don't see the screen at the moment, so you're sharing the screen, but I don't... Oh, yeah, I do see your screen.
Wait, no, I haven't shared it yet.
Okay.
Here we go. So start sharing, and there we go. Do you see it now?
Yes, I do. Oh.
Let us pray.
Now, okay, by the way, I want to mention... hold on. Keep on that picture. This was the picture right here.
Uh-huh.
That that picture of her in the orange, that is where she that was the latest panel that she was on. This is where I had a few conversations with a few people on this very topic. Hey, and I'm sorry to really bother you again. Is there anybody on the call? Oh no. My God! Look at this, and look at this woman. Oh my God!
That's who she does her show with. She does a show with that woman.
Yeah. I think she's a tranny, by the way. Yeah, and this is like I said, it's all about rebellion and I think narcissism at its finest.
I'll post a lot of selfies. She's a big selfie hoe.
Blair, let's look at this from Seneca. Who's this? Sarah B. Blair is out there doing work, educating us on how the cranberry juice is made. Looking good, feeling good experience. Ugh.
I think she was trying to expose Ocean Spray. Oh no! Ocean Spray is a collective of different farmers across America. So she's supporting Ocean Spray. I've heard the complete opposite about them. I don't know enough about it though. Big sponsor for her, maybe. I've got the remaining chicken tender to go.
Good for you.
Where's Culver's?
I don't know.
There you go. Some more selfie.
I couldn't handle all this dairy. I look lactate. So she had lactate. Oh my God! Can you imagine this? I decided to have a chocolate milkshake.
There you go.
Is this woman posting everything she does?
There she goes again.
Oh, she decided to have a chocolate milkshake. Oh my God.
Of course, the orange sweater, that's a Masonic color, by the way. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
The faces of Blair during her Vice taping. Oh, boy. Was she the only recognizable person on this panel, by the way?
That I knew of? Or do I have to... Wait.
Access to birth control.
Yeah, these people here.
And has work culture changed for the better because of Me Too?
No.
So that's incredible. Trump can say whatever he want to say. Can we Trump that and say that and do that, then so can he.
Because he doesn't want to get accused of sexual.
All right, so we do have another caller. Are the two of you ready for another caller?
Let's do it.
Hello, you're on with Mr. Midnight Movie and Jewish producer. How's it going?
It's me, but who's screaming?
Oh, no, not me. Hopefully not me. Was I screaming? Oh, that was. Oh, did you hang up on? Are you not on the call anymore, Ruthie? What happened?
No, it let me go.
Oh. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
I was wondering
right.
why you weren't. I was wondering why you weren't talking, but here we're just playing a video. You said somebody was screaming or screening.
Screaming.
I actually have to make sure I shut off all the radio programming so that I can speak clearly.
Yeah, it wasn't on our end, so.
Push forward women's movement and gender equality.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Wait, what? I'm not denying anything. I don't have that much knowledge on it, so I'm listening.
Who's screaming?
I don't know.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Go ahead.
Learning.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. I'm so honored to be in your presence right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was.
Oh my God! I mean, did you see that arrogance right there? Someone said, "I'm so honored to be in your presence." Why would you be honored to be in this person's presence? Are you kidding? Jesus! Oh my God! I guess if you're kind of famous,
her lactose intolerance is an issue. I guess for everybody needs to know about it. Oh boy.
To the love of my life, Akeem, probably another rich kid.
All right.
And let's continue to look. Let's continue to look at.
You see the arrogance? Do you see the arrogance?
Oh, she is very arrogant.
The arrogance is extreme.
Social Justice Week, Blair Imani. Now, do you know much about like her family? And I mean, she seems like she comes from a rather wealthy family.
Ruthie.
Yes, I'm right here. Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, she seems like she comes from a rather wealthy family. She's a rich kid.
There's no question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
You didn't ask her a question, Mr. Midnight Movie. Go ahead.
Well, my question is like, because I don't know for sure, but what I know of her, she looks like she comes from a rather wealthy family, probably even perhaps the 1%.
Is that a question or a comment?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. What I've seen of her, I think she's originally from Pasadena, California, and the wealthy part of Pasadena, California. She's a wealthy person. Her parents come from money, and she's just a rebellious twit who decided she wanted some drama in her life, and she's a first world. She's got first world problems, and she wanted to have more problems, so she became a Muslim, basically. And it's kind of sad.
She came out in apparently June of 2017.
Came out as gay or came out as Muslim?
Queer, gay.
Oh, so she's...
She used the word queer. She used the word queer, not gay. She said she was queer. June 2017.
I think it might have been before that, just because I remember when she was on the Tucker Carlson show. It was actually before that, where she was a queer. She said she was a queer Muslim. I think it was 2015, actually.
Well, it might have been, but when she made an official coming out, an announcement, it was June 2017. Oh, she came out in GLAAD. GLAAD. She came out on GLAAD.
And this is one of her.
Program on her.
We're doing one of her, and I'm looking right now. Now, Ruthie, would you prefer to be called back on Skype?
If you get on Skype, you can see what we're looking at. We're looking at her Twitter timeline.
I am on Skype.
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Oh, you just.
No.
I called you on the 917 number.
Okay.
That is Skype.
But no.
That's our Blog Talk Radio number.
Yeah. But if you, so we're looking right now, and this I think is a trans person. Okay. That we're looking at. So if let's scroll down and see also, and I guess she's 25 years of age.
Give me the link so that I can see it too.
I'm calling.
Yeah.
No. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, Ruthie. Hang up on this call, and I'm going to add you on our Skype right now. So just hang up.
Okay.
So as we're looking here now, Blair Imani has blocked me from Twitter, and this was a while ago. This was maybe over 2 years ago that this person blocked me because I talked about a queer black. One of the shows I did was about a queer black Muslim woman. Seeing if anything.
Oh, she's not answering Skype. Maybe I'll try it again. Oh, man.
Should I do it?
Yeah, you might want to give it a shot there.
Let me do it again. All right, let me try again. Here we go. Hopefully she'll.
That worked.
There we go.
It did. So are you seeing the screen right here?
Yes.
This is one of at least I'm just tons of selfies or pictures of her in perfect golden sunlight.
Yeah, I mean, you just post that picture up again. Let's take a look at that.
Which one? This one?
No. Further, the one we were just looking at. Can you? Okay. I mean, this woman is a Muslim out of accessory. This is not.
Right. It's like her watch. Is that two? Is she wearing two watches?
She's Islam chic, and you can't be this. This is all
more orange.
This is all for ego. It's all about her ego. She's an ego. She's what I call an ego victim. My God, just look at that. It's awful. Awful.
She's not. She's very much a narcissist.
Oh yeah, she is an absolute. And the thing is, why is the media giving this? Why are people in the
for
media,
the same reason that they allowed Skolnick, who's a white man, to continually for years represent the black community, speak for the blacks when someone was when a black issue happened anywhere in the country, all the networks would have Mike Skolnick on the front page, on the front row, in the front seat. It was ridiculous.
Did Mike Skolnick? Did he grow up in a white neighborhood? Did he grow up around blacks, or was he raised pretty privileged?
Very privileged, and what people say on the air is very different than their actual lives. And now with Wikipedia and everything else, you can actually mold the person you want to be and change all of that. So these people who like that kind of attention and they like to be in the spotlight, they do that all the time.
There you go, Mr. Midnight Movie.
Yeah, that is. Well, no, she's a Jewish woman. Yeah, that was. And I had someone. Let me see here. And Blair, Imani, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, narcissist, egotistical young people. Dr. Bristol just said that. Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so. I mean, and you look at these pictures. I'm looking. I mean, this is total narcissism.
Yes.
And just a wealthy rich kid who basically is just choosing to be an activist.
They would never allow any of this in Islam anywhere, in any Islamic country. They would never allow it. She couldn't get through an airport behaving and speaking this way.
No. And it's unbelievable the way this person, just the way she behaved. It just the arrogance and
people don't want to be. You see the thing, and especially if they're if they're a minority, and I can speak on that, so I don't want to hear any haters screaming and yelling or saying ugly stuff on the
haters
pad because I'm Latin, so I'm Hispanic, so I can say this.
I didn't know that.
Because my dad explained to me that I had to, as a citizen of this country, learn how to speak and dominate the English language because that was the language in which I would be doing business. He didn't give a damn whether I knew how to play maracas or not. That didn't matter, and that wasn't going to get me an A in science. And there are millions of Hispanics that do value and treasure education and practice it and live it.
I want you to
speak this way. I've never said to you, oh, I'm Hispanic, I have to have extra credit, I have to have extra stuff because I'm Latin, so you have to give me a break. I've never said that to you. I never even told you I was Latin. I never told you I'm Hispanic. I never told you anything. I just speak correctly and properly in a way that if anyone wanted to record your show, they would say, wow, that's a nice show. Listen to how the people speak on that show. Yeah. They would take a blurb of what I said and completely cut out the show where they're swearing. That's why I was telling you, if you want to go further, drop the swearing because you're going to go in huge directions. For every American that exists, there are 60 to 70 Asians that exist. That means that if I get something of yours on Twitter, how many are going to read it? How many are going to see it? But if I get you on Baidu, which is the Chinese Twitter, it's going to be 60 times the amount of people that saw you in the U.S.
Yep.
No one listened to my interviews on Bill Cosby in the United States. They don't want to hear it. He's the Black Pope. They don't want to hear it. But when I went on radio in Hong Kong, millions upon millions heard me. And I didn't use one swear word, not once. Not once.
Yeah, we don't. It's not necessary for us. It's not.
Now, JP,
it's not part of our game. I don't swear in the daytime much. Anyways, yeah, it's not a huge issue. Although we do need to catch ourselves from time to time.
Of course. I've said things I regret. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that.
I don't regret saying it, but for the fact that if we're trying to get picked up on certain lines or whatever, I get that. I respect that. So it's not an issue.
You'll get picked up and people will listen to you, but I never asked you to give me any extra points or any extra credit or any anything because I'm Latin. I came on your show and I spoke English like anyone else. I never asked for any special consideration. Not ever. Never will. Never will.
By the way, JP, if you can click again on that picture of Blair Imani on the okay, okay. Okay. If you can put your cursor on there, just keep your cursor on there. Okay, she says if you'd like to support me, I'll speak at your IRL.
Real life.
Head to So she says I'm book and busy this month, so catch me in Wisconsin, New York, South Carolina, or California. So she is all over.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can catch her in California, JP. I might want to protest her.
Yeah. Shouldn't be hard to find out when and where, for sure. When she's in California, she's going to be talking about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She's got a website. Let's see if there's maybe a schedule on there.
That would be great. Let's see if we can get to her website, because we would love to come and show our support for Blair Imani, the walking oxymoron known as Blair Imani. She probably is, though, very. I imagine that Miss Imani or Miss Blair
on her website, she's got an events calendar.
Oh, good.
And where is her website?
BlairImani.com.
Ah. Let's take a look here at her website.
There we go.
Oh, you can buy tickets. Look, you can buy tickets. Look at that.
Oh, will they let us in?
She'll be in Irvine on April 30th.
Oh, when is April 3rd? What day is that on?
Tuesday. Which isn't too easy to get to on a Tuesday, but why not?
If you're just going to go to listen, you can get tickets, of course, and just go listen.
Can I protest?
Why bother? Just you learn more by using both ears and just being quiet. You learn so much more. Then you'll have plenty for your own show, because you'll have it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
You'll have
record it.
But
may as well go and record.
Yeah, because if you start in with "I'm coming here to protest," you'll get thrown out right away, and that's the end of that. Don't waste that wonderful resource of being present. If you can be present and hear, you're going to be in a very good position to be able to discuss this later. But not if you get thrown out. If people don't realize that.
The thing of it is, if she is, well, she's already blocked me on Twitter. I think she knows who I am. We went at it. We went at it on Twitter. If she doesn't have a question, because I've seen, because I have a lot of downtime, and I've seen just about everything that she's said, and she seems to be very well protected. And I don't know if there's going to be a Q&A segment when she's at her events, if they have a Q&A portion of the show. Because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in Q&A. I'm not just interested in it, because hearing her is not as interesting to me as it's how much is it to see her? $97?
Oh, no. This is a map of places in the area. Get notified when tickets go on sale. I don't think they're listed here price-wise.
But will there be a Q&A?
Well, it doesn't say.
Let's see how much ticket. Can we see how much tickets are though? Like, can we see how much tickets are going for?
Crystal Cove. Yeah, I'm not sure.
She actually gets paid to speak?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
I find that absolutely amazing.
Here's a picture of Blair and her mother.
I've seen, and I've seen her, but her mother does look. I heard she's mixed, but I think her mother is mixed as well. Her father's very black, and her mother, I think her mother might be mixed black herself.
I don't know. She's a very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to not appreciate someone's background or political position and then say, "Oh, and they're unattractive too." They're attractive women.
They're attractive women, but
they are.
For me, her personality. I mean, she's such a she exhibits such narcissistic behavior that makes her, for me, very unattractive. You know, because I doubt she could have...
I wasn't sending you to a dating website. I just
no.
See what she looked like.
I'm just saying that for me, her behavior, because I don't think she can have a relationship with anybody being the way she is, because I think she's all into her phony activism, and I just I just think that she's not a good person. So what are these tickets going on sale for?
I can't find them even for the past shows. I'm not seeing the prices, so I don't know. We'll get notified though when when it gets close. I'm not sure what it seems to me like a strange thing. I can't get any details on the tickets really, so who knows.
Frequently asked questions about Blair Imani. I just asked about tickets. What do they normally cost?
It seems like she's part of like certain conferences, like BeautyCon.
Oh, this is a question and answer of her own. The question they gave her was, is Blair Imani queer or bisexual and or Muslim? And she said, yep, those are the facts. I converted to Islam in 2015, and I have been a practicing Muslim ever since. Islam is a beautiful religion. She goes on and on, 15 years old. It was not until 2017 that I came out to the world on Tucker Carlson Tonight.
Right. And what does queer mean? Queer means something different for everyone. Most folks in the LGBTQ community agree that queer is an umbrella term for those who are outside of the heteronormative and cisnormative definitions of identity. For me, queer means I am bisexual or attracted to people of all genders. Good for you, Blair.
Okay, here's the next question that really kills me. Do you believe? Do you believe that? Do you believe that it is haram or forbidden to be LGBTQ in Islam?
Yes, it is. It's forbidden.
Yeah, and she says no. I believe Allah created me as I am, bisexual and all.
Asking her personally how she believes, yeah. But the religion and members and leaders of the religion do not agree with that. No, they do not.
I also believe that queer people of faith deserve to worship in safety and peace. If you are LGBTQ Muslim person, I invite you to visit. And this, I guess, where queers. It's a listing of something.org for queer Muslims, where the amazing resources on faith and LGBT community. While I acknowledge that many people do not believe that queerness is forbidden in Islam, I do not agree with this interpretation. Many arguments about queerness. God damn it! Oh,
what happened?
I was reading that, and you just okay.
Calm down, man.
I'm sorry.
Are we having a temper issue? Do we need to have anger management programming in our next show?
He just got us kicked out of China.
Is damn even is that even a swear word? They're atheists in that country.
Go.
Okay. While I acknowledge that many people do believe that queerness is forbidden in Islam, I do not agree in this interpretation. Many argue about queerness in the Quran emerged from the story of Lot, known as the Abrahamic religions. I believe that the story of Lot does not teach us against consensual same-gender romantic relationship. I believe that the story of Lot is very clearly a teaching against rape, regardless of whether the rape is committed against someone of the same or different gender. I'd like to ask her about the story of Aisha as well. Furthermore, I believe following the teaching of Islam and Allah's word are inspirational that Muslims seek that, and that human agendas of bigotry and hatred influence the way faith is practiced. Homophobia, transphobia are not exclusive to Islam or Abrahamic religions, though the influence of these forces of hate frequently result in harm and violence against LGBTQ community. Now, I wish I could have asked her another question. Okay.
Yes.
What do?
No, go on. Go ahead.
Okay. My question. Okay. My question for her was, you said you were black first instead of American. Could you be a queer black woman in any part of a Muslim country?
The answer is no. The answer is no. And did you see yesterday's BBC on their front page?
No.
Yes, just yesterday, Brunei implements stoning to death under anti-LGBT laws. Brunei is introducing strict new Islamic laws that make, I'm not going to say, a particular type of sex and adultery offenses punishable by stoning to death. The new measures that come into force on Wednesday also cover a range of other crimes, including punishment for theft by amputation. The move has sparked international condemnation. Brunei's gay community has expressed shock and fear at the medieval punishments. One of them said, "You wake up and realize that your neighbors, your family, or even that nice old lady that sells prawn fritters by the side of the road doesn't think you're human, or that it's okay with stoning." A Brunei gay man said that. He didn't want to be identified. This came out yesterday in the BBC.
By the way, what is going on with Brexit?
Nothing. They're arguing back and forth. I hate to bring it back to the United States, but if Theresa May had listened to President Trump and done what he told her, this wouldn't be an issue. But she was so sure, like so many others, that everything that went on with these FISA court requests was going to stay quiet and secret because it's the FISA secret court. But they forget that when they're bragging, they talk to the media, and all of that gets recorded forever. And everywhere on the internet you can find that Judge Rudolph Contreras was a friend of Eric Holder, who brought him in to meet Barack Obama, who then assigned Rudolph Contreras to this FISA court. And if you make a mistake and you don't know the facts and they've lied to you and they've given you this information and you signed the warrant, the FISA warrant, because you don't know, that's one time. I can see that. That's a human thing. That can happen to anybody. But he signed 4 of them. So it's impossible for him to know. And he's also the one who ruled over Michael Flynn's trial. And then he did not recuse himself. No, he did not. He was recused against his will. Then he decided to go ahead and end his career as a judge. And he retired and he slid back to Miami, where he's been today. And they never mention him. Neither side mentions him.
Now, by the way,
yeah,
and I wanted to mention, and I know it's off topic, but Bitcoin has gone through the roof.
Oh, and every time that happens, all the other coins that are connected to it go through the roof as well. One of ours is called bankcoin.global.
By the way, Ruthie, I collected a interest payment on my Bankcoin last week.
Isn't that cute how it's growing? What we've done is I'll tell you, it's grown so beautifully. In the United States, we have the insurance company called John Hancock. You recognize them, right?
Absolutely.
John Hancock?
Yeah.
You know John Hancock. It's one of the biggest insurance companies in the United States. John Hancock was bought out, it was acquired by Manulife. They're headquartered in Waterloo, Canada, and they are all over Asia. And Manulife has written a philanthropic insurance policy for Bancoin so that we may continue providing free tuition for grad students. It's just a beautiful thing. If you go to wyith.edu and look under programs, you will see that all that information is there. It's a beautiful thing. Now another university has asked us to add their 3 diploma programs, which we have. We've added, so now we have 6. It's just a beautiful thing. We're basically getting people their graduate degrees that they can't afford. Because by the time they finish schooling, now they're saddled with $200,000 or $300,000 worth of graduate school debt. How can they buy a house? How can they get a car? How can they start life? But if they didn't have those problems and the corporate world took it over, that's what we've done. We don't say do this or do that. We're just letting you know what we're doing. We're educating people. They pay the incidentals, like a lab fee or a book. They pay that, but we pay the tuition, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's being embraced by corporations around the world. In fact, now that we're talking about that, it's a wonderful segue to tell you that on June 4th, 5th, and 6th, in the United States at the Kennedy Space Center, they're going to be celebrating a lovely thing called the Space Congress. The Space Congress, and we're going to be at the Space Congress. We are one of the premier sponsors of the Space Congress, and we're going to be right there. And John McEwen from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, he's now on his own. He's going to be there because his son has a company that makes videos for portable planetariums. His company's name is Starlight Productions, and they're going to be there with a small miniature version. It's like 13 feet of a portable planetarium that you blow up. It looks like an igloo, and the kids can get in there and look up at the ceiling and watch movies about all sorts of things. And we're going to have a small one, but we've moved into the area of, the Oculus? So now you can see the portable planetarium show. You could see it on the virtual reality glasses.
The Oculus Rift?
Yeah, and we're going to be doing going to Kenya. That's a whole big program that they have at Starlight Productions. They're going to Kenya, and they're taking those glasses to Kenya so that the children can see the planetarium shows. So they don't even have to be, bringing a big building or a theater or anything like that. It won't be necessary. We've now moved quickly right into the virtual reality glasses, and we're taking them to Kenya. And Starlight Productions is going to be with us, with Bancoin, at the Space Congress. And you could see the schedules on the internet. It's going to be quite interesting. They're celebrating the 50th year of Apollo. You remember Apollo?
It is the anniversary of the 50th year.
Yes, yeah, and all the astronauts are going to be there. Isn't that lovely?
Should be very interesting.
We're going to be there. I'm going to be there every day.
Where will that be?
Table.
In what state?
Florida, of course.
In Florida.
It's going to be held. It's a 46 space. It's Cape Canaveral, Florida, June 4th through the 7th. In collaboration with NASA, Space Florida. It's fabulous. The Space Congress, yep. This year they're going to call it Light the Fire. Light the Fire. And if you go to Wednesday, I believe it's Wednesday, isn't it? Wednesday. Yes, if you go to Wednesday at 9 a.m., you'll see that there's a link for the international programs. And they have the listed people there. It'll be Kim Ellis, the moderator, John Guidi. ESM is to be determined. They haven't announced a person. Dr. Sandra Brogel will be talking about Space Opal. And Colonel David Brenner will be talking, retired Army, will be talking about BCR, Australia Digital. That's us.
Mr. Midnight Movie, where are you at, man? Are you there?
I am here.
Okay, wake up, man.
I think it is time, though. It is almost, it's already 10:30, and I do have to get up early in the morning for work.
Here you go.
Yes.
He's going to be representing Bankcoin Reserve at the event.
Very nice. We're going to spread that link around. Go check out
Here's the link. I'm giving you the one with his background and his photo. There he is. He's a full-bird colonel. And he is the representative now for Bankcoin Reserve in the United States. He's going to be the first commercial realtor to accept Bankcoin in the United States. And I'll let you know that I rented a small office from him for
you told us about this. No, we know where you're at with that. We're your biggest fan. We're supporting you all the way. We are going to get more and more people involved in Bankcoin and learning about it. But we have a whole podcast where we talked all about it. You could check that out. It was just a couple weeks ago. Go check that out when you can. Mr. Midnight Movie, any last words? Because it is about that time.
Thank you for having me. I am so grateful to be here, and every time I'm here, you let me talk about Bankcoin. I'm very grateful.
I love it. Mine's growing. Mine has value.
I know.
Mine has $1 value. It's already gotten 2 interest payments since I started. It's right here. See that? So it's growing. I started with a quarter of a Bankcoin at free for registering, and then just to check it out, and it's got value. It's
I know.
So it's got some value. Check it out. Go to wyeth.edu. wyith.edu and check it out. So, and with that, we are going to end our show. Thank you so much again, obviously, for coming on. It's awesome to have you.
I think we need to do a show on the economy and what's going to happen in the next month.
Yes, we will be doing that. I'm always up for talks about the economy. I hope we can do it in our next show with you, Ruthie, if you'd like to join us.
I would love it. I would love it.
Good. Well, we appreciate you coming on to Inflammatory Talk, and we appreciate all of you out there for listening to us. And I think that's going to be it for tonight. Snarky. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Got all these people in the chat room. I can't wait to read them.